Y'all, I can't even believe it. I have so much to show you. There's so much going on over here. There's so much growing and even harvesting at this point in the garden. And so I'm gonna give you the first official garden tour of the summer. Also, if you have not subscribed to this channel, make sure that you do so you don't miss any of this. So as you can see, I am growing a lot of things, not just in these two garden areas, but in pots, in containers, in hydroponic systems, in my growing towers, a lot of different ways I'm growing, even in grow bags. So make sure that you're subscribed to this channel so you don't miss any of my really cool updates and my really cool shorts that I love to share with this Grow Leafy community. First, just take a look at this whole growing area in space. I've still got to set that up, which is going to be my flower bed, but I'm working on that. It's also my perennial flower bed. But there are containers. There are two large 400 square foot growing space that I have protected in these two garden areas. But inside of them, you will find raised beds, all kinds of raised beds, and around them pots. And I do a lot of vertical gardening so that I can get the beneficial use of using a smaller space of gardening and growing up, but also growing in the raised beds as well. There are many different benefits to that. Surrounding all the garden enclosures are pots. And in these pots, as you can see, I'm vining up. Look at this, it's dun peas. What a beautiful flower. Take a look at that. And then I've got squash plants, my winter squash that are growing. So different things like winter squash and cucumbers. And we're gonna enter into here, but just before we get to that, make sure you hang on to this video because you are going to come inside there with me. But I've got different things growing right next to it, growing together as companions, together as friends. And I've got lettuce and some more winter squash, and it's just growing around. And don't forget, you need to have some kind of flowers. These are more of the edible types of marigolds and zinnias, nasturtiums, and different things like that that I am growing. That's nasturtium, so that it could be a beneficial thing for the plant, ward off certain pests, and then you can eat them as well. As we enter into this garden enclosure, I just really hope you can enjoy it with me and feel like you are here. Just imagine that you're walking through this growing tunnel right here. It's vertical, and as you can see, I've got many things growing vertically. These are dun peas that are just, oh my goodness, so prolific and growing. One of my favorite things is to grow peas. I love sugar snap peas and these dun peas. Now these dun peas, I need to go ahead and harvest, but I've been so busy just constructing things and working on different projects in the garden, but it is a little past time to go ahead and harvest them. It is time. Behind the dun peas, I was really impressed with these onions and how they're doing. But one other thing I was really impressed with was this. We look under here. There's ants all over. There's probably like some aphids on here. So the ants are sucking on this. I'm sure there's some aphids going on there, but it is what you call borage. And I do believe the borage has been almost like a trap crop, and it has not been attacked by aphids on the dun peas plant. I think they all went to the borage, so I'm just gonna leave it there and maybe squeeze some of those aphids off and allow the ants to just move on and take care of that. But thank you very much, borage, for doing your work. And over here, these plants over here are radishes. And there's a different couple of radishes, and then there's carrots somewhere in the midst there growing. But they got eaten up a lot by earwigs. Earwigs have been attacking my crops from the beginning, especially they love my leafy type greens, and I haven't been spraying stuff on it like neem oil or anything like that. Will I get to the point? Maybe, maybe, but not yet. I just have not yet. But there's more dun peas, and then on this side, there was not many holes in them, like the earwigs left alone, but I guess once they finished up gnawing on the radishes, they just decided, well, let's just move on to these beautiful ones. And these are the turnips. So turnips are growing in there. They're beautiful purple crop, a root crop, just absolutely beautiful. And here are some more turnips in here. I'm going to make a big pot of greens this weekend anyways. So you can kind of see that purple. Yeah, it's just a really beautiful color. Ground cherries, let's get down here. For the first time, I tried them last year, and I'm really, really excited to be growing them for the first time. And look at that, there's a bunch sitting there on this plant. And in the midst of it, there is some thyme, that's a lemon thyme, and beets, Kyogia beets, which I tried for the last year for the first time, and they're fantastic. So they're coming along, they're growing, and some more ground cherries. There are more beets that are growing over here. These ones were planted earlier, and so those are going to be ready pretty soon. And in the midst of that, I've got tomatoes, and as you can see, I plant different things together so that I'm utilizing the space in a vertical way. And even, look at here, some basil in the midst of that. And so look at that. Look at that. It looks like it's going to seed. I'm actually just going to take that right off so that it can keep growing and not fully go to seed. But look at that. Let's proceed into the next garden enclosure where I planted some other things quite different than in the other enclosure. So in the other enclosure that we just left, that's where I put a lot of my cool loving crops because I started those ones earlier. What you will find are a lot of my summer crops, definitely heat loving ones. So I have a lot of my winter squash. Now it's called winter squash. It doesn't mean it has to grow in the winter. No, it just means that I can really store it away for the winter. They have a hard skin and they last a very, very long time. That is my buttercup squash. And then I have kabocha squash, and I've got pepper plants, quite a bit of different pepper plants that are in here, and even some more beans. I'm trying to grow some garbanzo beans for the first time. I'm seeing a different color in here that I need to probably pay a little bit more attention to. Could be a little bit lack of calcium or some kind of nutrients that it's not wicking up and taking up, but I haven't been giving it additional nutrients, and we've been getting a ton of rain. So I know I probably need to do a little bit more to it. It is not even June yet, and I'm already getting some peppers. And then this plant over here I'm growing for the first time is eggplant. I've never grown eggplant. I'm seeing some ants on there, so that's making me wonder what's going on with this plant. What's drawing the ants to it? Is there something sweet? Are there aphids? So I really need to go ahead and examine these plants just to make sure that they're not being attacked by some kind of pests. I love this sound. And when you're outside, take that moment just to take a pause and take care of yourself and do some self-care so you can enjoy the nature that surrounds your garden. All right, let's move on now. All right, so that was just a pause break. But over there on the left-hand side are the two garden enclosures. And this is the new space right here that you all have been watching me building. Let me tell you, this has been a lot of work, but it's coming along. And many of you said, don't quit, keep going, because it was exhausting. But look, my husband and I, what we installed all of these four. The one right there in the middle, that was already there. But look at the 4 10 by 2.5 feet raised beds. And I'm so happy they're doing well. I actually went and bought some blueberry bushes, and I bought some strawberry stars, and I've been eating strawberries. There's a lot of them that's gone because I've been eating them, and it's actually protected by a little net here. So the birds and squirrels, they're not getting into it, thank goodness. And then over there, I've got herbs as well. Let me take a look at that. So there's basil. And I plan on putting some blackberries in here, a thornless blackberry in here. But as of right now, I just got a few herbs. Parsley, oregano, chamomile. Just look at this. Hyssop. Oh my goodness. And even rosemary. It's just such a common place. And then on this side here, I've got even in grow bags. So you can utilize grow bags and raised beds and in ground, where I even have my trees planted in ground. And you can utilize all these different types of growing mediums and growing ways to produce food so that you can have a sense of sustainability. Now look at this as you are planting flowers and things like that. Look at the beneficial pollinators that love this. Just beautiful. Just beautiful. That makes me really happy. So the perennials have really helped to contribute to the nature and the ecosystem. Over here is where I have the sweet potatoes that I started, and I started them from slips, okay? But initially I went to the store and I got 2 organic potatoes, well, sweet potatoes, and then I just had them indoors and I put them in a little bit of a soilless medium and let them sit in there and watered them gently, and they started producing all of these slips. So all of these sweet potato slips that you see all across here are from only, well, was it 2? Hang on a second. 4. It was actually 4 sweet potatoes, but all of that. And now I'm gonna get so much more. So I'm really excited. So make sure that you are a part of this channel just so that you can see the progress even in the sweet potatoes. If you love sweet potatoes, if you love eating vegetables, if you love growing food, if you love sustainability and taking care of yourself and growing the foods and eating them and taking care of yourself, then make sure that you are part of this channel. If you like this so far, give me a thumbs up and give me a comment or question so that I can be a part of this community with you. All right, on to the next. Fruit trees. I've got a pawpaw, and another pawpaw, and another pawpaw. I've got 4 pawpaw trees. And here's a quick little clip so you can see what pawpaws are all about. I tried them for the first time last year in the fall, and I've never tried them before. And I've lived out here in Kentucky for a very long time. And I never heard of pawpaw until I went to the Pawpaw Festival and I tasted it, and it was remarkable. It was so good. It took me back to the Caribbean islands, and it just reminded me of Caribbean food and Caribbean fruits, and it just took me back there. But wait a second, this grows in the United States, and I was like, this is amazing, and it's a native in Kentucky. So I'm really happy about that, really happy about growing it, especially because it's a native tree. And so when you're looking at things to grow, also consider really growing natives, because it's really good for the environment. It gives back to the environment, your pollinators, and your nature really loves it and appreciates it. But also the most important thing is that it grows well, okay? You have a better success rate of it doing well. So why would I try growing a mango in Kentucky? It would not do well and would not survive. I would have to probably set it up indoors and bring it indoors, and I'm not trying to do all that, okay? I'm a busy gardener. I got a lot of things to do, and I just really don't want to have to fool with bringing things in and out over the winter months. So anyways, why not grow pawpaws? Can you see me? Now, do you see me? Do you see all this greens growing on this tower garden? It is time to harvest it because I'm getting ready to cook a big pot of greens. I said just clip the large pieces that are around it so it allows for the inner small leaves to continue growing. I just can't believe this, y'all. This is what you call some collard greens. Is it bigger than my face? So I'm gonna go ahead and harvest that. But if you ever struggle with having space to be able to grow foods, or maybe you just don't even have a yard to be able to grow food in and you just need to figure out another way that you can do it, here you go. Some healthy greens. You can actually grow tomatoes. Look, this is kale, red Russian kale. All of this was harvested from my tower garden. Zinnias, look at that red, was it red basil or something like that? It ain't doing too well, but we'll see how that does. We'll see how that goes. Look, there's one that's doing well. Thank you very much for doing what you need to do. And then some Swiss chard. And I just got different things in pots. Oh, this is some Jerusalem artichokes. And someone actually gave these to me. They pulled it from their own garden area because they have so much, because it's very, very prolific and it keeps growing and growing and growing. And so I put it in a container because I know that it's aggressive. And this as well, this is yarrow, and I was told that it's pretty aggressive as well. So I put it in a pot and moringa leaves. I really want this moringa tree. I hope it grows and survives. It's been surviving inside of my house for a very long time, for a few months, and somewhat suffering. That's why there's yellow leaves. But I put that in there the week ago, and it's actually growing really well compared to what it looked like before. Lemongrass, and more lemongrass that I actually need to put down in here. So make sure that you are subscribed to my channel, because I'm going to go ahead and actually make a video on how I create this garden container with lemongrass. That is everything for this garden tour. I think I've showed you pretty much everything that I'm growing. I really hope that you enjoyed this. I hope this was an inspiration to you. And I really do hope that you are really gaining a better understanding of the importance of growing and the benefits that it will have in your life and in your family and just in your well-being. And so just remember to grow, to eat, and take care of yourself. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.